No body, no weapon, no witness, yet a murder conviction. In Singapore, 4 cases stand apart, not for what investigators found, but for what they didn't. No corpse, no closure, and still, justice prevailed. From a vanished diver beneath the waves, to a lover burned beyond recognition, a child hidden in a pot, and another whose ashes were never found. These are the crimes that tested the limits of law, science, and conscience. Each case defied logic. Each pushed investigators to their breaking point. Because how do you solve a murder when there's no scene, no body, and no proof of death? These stories stand as rare exceptions, haunting reminders that truth can survive even when every trace of it has been erased. This is not just about crime, it's about conviction, both in the courtroom and in the human spirit. Can you prove murder when there is no body? In most murders, the body tells the story, how, when, and why a life was taken. But in law, the truth can speak, even through silence. Singapore's courts have ruled, if the evidence proves beyond reasonable doubt that death occurred, the absence of a body is no defense. It's a principle few nations dare to test, because without a body, every question becomes a shadow. Where is the victim? How do you prove death? And who decides when absence becomes proof? Here, the answer lies in reason, not remains. It's in the motive that doesn't add up. Each time it pushed the limits of forensic technology, legal endurance, and human belief. Because in a system built on evidence, sometimes all that's left is conviction. The lies that collapse under pressure, the science that reconstructs what eyes can no longer see. Only 3 times in 60 years, and now a 4th, has this principle been tested. August 1963. Sonny Ang Su Swan, former race car driver, part-time law student, takes his girlfriend Jenny Cheok diving near Sisters Islands. She never resurfaces. Only one torn flipper drifts ashore. Investigators soon learn Ang had secretly bought a string of insurance policies on Jenny's life, naming himself the sole beneficiary. The total payout, the equivalent of hundreds of thousands of dollars. When she vanished, Ang showed no panic. Instead, he calmly filed the insurance claims. The prosecution built a case from circumstance alone, motive. To this day, her body has never been found, lost somewhere beneath Singapore's southern sea. Opportunity and cold precision. No body, no witness, but every clue pointed toward murder. In 1965, a jury found Sonny Ang guilty of killing Jenny Cheok. He was hanged 2 years later. Half a century later, another disappearance. 2016, Leslie Khoo Cui Yajie, a married laundry manager, was having an affair with a young engineer, Khoo Cui Yajie. On the 12th of July, inside his BMW near Gardens by the Bay, an argument turns fatal. He strangles her. For 3 nights, Khoo drives her body to a remote forest in Lim Chu Kang. There, he burns it again and again, until almost nothing remains. When questioned, he insists he only dropped her off. But CCTV footage, mobile phone data, and his own contradictions tell another story. Investigators trace every move, from the city streets to the ashes in the forest. In 2019, Khoo is convicted of murder. Singapore's second ever case without a body. He is sentenced to life imprisonment. Forensic experts later said, no identifiable remains of Khoo Cui Yajie were ever recovered. Only traces, hair, fabric, ash, to mark that she once lived. (2019) Police enter a one-room flat along Chin Swee Road after a disturbing tip-off. Inside a sealed metal pot, they find charred bone fragments, the remains of a little girl who had been missing for 5 years. Her parents, upon being questioned, admitted they never reported her death. The father confessed to striking her in anger, then burning the body to hide it. By the time investigators found her, The bones were too destroyed for any pathologist to determine exactly how she died. Without proof of intent, prosecutors reduced the charge to culpable homicide, not murder. The father escaped the death penalty and was jailed 21.5 years and given 18 strokes of the cane. The mother also avoided a murder conviction and was sentenced to 14 years for abuse, abetment and concealment. It was justice, but incomplete. Even the judge admitted, no one may ever know precisely how the child died. And then came the 2020s. Megan Khung, 4 years old, endured months of abuse at the hands of her mother, Fu Liping, and her mother's boyfriend, Wang Shixiang. When she finally died, they, together with Fu's friend, burned her body in a barrel, erasing every trace. The ashes were never found. Yet investigators pieced together the horror through testimony, residue, and confession. The court ruled she was killed by a blow to the stomach by her mother's boyfriend. Fu Liping, Megan's mother, was sentenced to 19 years in prison. Wang Shixiang, the boyfriend, was sentenced to 30 years and 17 strokes of the cane. The friend, who abetted in destroying the evidence, is yet to be sentenced. It became Singapore's newest no-body conviction, proving that even total destruction cannot conceal the truth forever. From the 1960s to the 2020s, 4 eras, 4 victims, 1 principal. Sunny Ang's diver lost to the sea, Leslie Khoo's lover burnt to ash, a toddler killed and hidden in a pot, and Megan Khung, her remains vanished entirely. Each case reminds us that justice does not depend on what is seen, but on what can be proved. Even when the body is gone, the truth endures. No body does not mean no evidence of crime, because in Singapore, silence itself can speak.